Hello! In this video you're going to find out what the possibilities are of facilitating a remote workshop. My name is Ilka and I'm lead of the design team at NextView. I have 15 years of experience in the design field and I have no experience at recording a video or a tutorial. So this is the first time, so let's see whether you're able to stick to it until the end. This video about facilitating remote workshops is a part of a series of videos, all highlighting a different subject of remote working. We also created a handbook, so if you would like to receive a copy of this handbook about effectively working remote teams, please contact me or one of my colleagues at NextView and we will send you a copy. In this video, I'll first point out the importance of framing the context of your workshop and enabling your participants to actually participate in your workshop. We quickly look at the activities that you could add around the sessions to maximize the result of your workshop. Most of the times I will spend showing you an example of my preparation for a client's workshop, taking you step by step through the playbook and the templates. First things first, the context of the workshop. It's all about the frame. When will people participate and who will be participating? Whether it's a serial workshop or whether it's a one-off workshop. So take a moment to consider what the context of your workshop is, especially the moment in time. Are you going to use this way of working to provide your participants the opportunity to participate on time of their preference, or are you going to ask all your participants to be available and participating at the same moment in time but on different locations? Or are you going to set up a mixed version of that, where parts of your session will be with all the participants at the same time, and part of the session you provide them the possibility to work on assignments in their own moment of choice. In the example that I'll show you later on, my participants will all join at the same moment in time, to keep it simple. So what can I tell you about around this session? There's a lot to do around this session. Main and most important one is the part where you enable your participants to prepare. So I'll tell you in the next slide more about the preparation that you need to do yourself as a facilitator, but this one is about what you can do around the session to maximize the result of your session. And the first and most important one is enable your participants to prepare. Like my colleague Nick already showed in an earlier video about sending a personal handwritten invitation together with some chocolate, which is a very nice example to give the participants a sense of connection and to make a remote workshop a little bit more personal. But the absolute minimum that you should be doing is providing all information that they need on how to participate, including all the different links that they will be needing of all the different programs that you will be using, inviting them to already check the links and the digital tools up front, especially if they are unfamiliar with the tools in the digital environment that the workshop will be hosted in. Next to the workshop and the invitation and preparation of the workshop, you can provide your participants assignments which they can do upfront the workshop or afterwards the workshop. And upfront the workshop, it provides everyone to get familiar with the different tools or specific subjects. So it helps them to enter the workshop a little bit more prepared. Next to that, afterwards the workshop, it can help you to get more detailed information, to fill in gaps which you weren't able to fill in during the workshop, or to complete assignments, or simply finalize the documentation of the workshop. And this is a very, very nice and welcome additional benefit of facilitating a digital workshop. As a facilitator, normally you have loads of work of digitizing all the post-it scribbles, notes, drawings all participants normally produce on paper, on poster, on whiteboards, but by having a remote and digital workshop, it's already digitized. Under this guise of co-creation, it's absolutely okay to spread the work of documentation amongst participants and to give yourself a little bit relief on their workload. So I told you a lot about preparation and enabling your participants to prepare to the workshop. We talked about sending them an invitation, giving them well instructions, and giving them tips and tricks on how they could prepare well. But it's also very, very important to make sure that all your stakeholders of the workshop agree upon the goal and the purpose of the workshop. So this enables you to lead the participants towards the results which are actually useful after the workshop. One thing which is key, whether you facilitate a workshop in real life, physical, or whether you do it remote, is creating a playbook. And working remote, it even makes it more important to have a well-defined playbook. Within this playbook, you define what you're actually going to do. You choose your tools, techniques, and assignments, and you set up a timing. It's very important to do this up front and to share it again with all your stakeholders to get agreement on that. But it's also important to share it at the beginning of the workshop with your participants. In physical workshops, I tend to leave participants a little bit in the dark and to have them just work on assignments, finding out by the end of the workshop what the actual goal of certain assignments was. In a remote workshop, I noticed that they don't like that and that they need a little bit more reassurance on what the timing is, what they can expect at which moment. So therefore, I guide them a little bit more and give them a little bit more information by sharing the main topics of the playbook. One other thing, which is very, very important to have, is that you enable yourself within your playbook to act on feedback, so that you're able to act on subjects that come up which you didn't expect them to come up. A list of tools and techniques which you can use during a remote workshop is equally endless as the list of tools and techniques for a physical workshop. But make sure that the tools and techniques that you choose match with the purpose of the interaction that you're looking for. Next to that, you have to choose your digital tools. So on the one hand, you need a conversational tool, and on the other hand, you need a online whiteboard tool. We've chosen Google Hangout as a conversational tool, and we've chosen Miro as our online whiteboard environment where we facilitate our workshops in. Let me show you an example of one of the workshops that we prepared for one of our clients. In preparation of the workshop, we sent a 2-page PDF with some small explanation of how to use Miro, and we sent them a link to a Miro board which they can just play around in, a test and trial document to get familiar with navigating in Miro. And then let's go to Miro and have a look on how our template for a workshop looks like. Welcome in my Miro environment. As you can see here, it's an extended template which I will take you through step by step, and we'll start at the start. So as you can see here, what I try to do is make it visibly as clear as possible to intuitively guide your participants throughout your template and throughout your workshop. So I give some small introduction and some small explanation and call them welcome onto my template and onto the Miro environment. I'll explain them most of the time a bit about the way of working, the use of sticky notes, cards, voting systems. If you want to know how to use this in Miro, I advise you to have a look at their online tutorials, on this, which you can find at the site of Miro. And I'll be focusing on how to set up your online workshop. So one of the most important things is that you describe your goal. If possible and if relevant, describe the context of your project objectives, and if you have already a goal, describe it here. Mention the agenda and include a break, which you also give a clear timing for. And it's nice to have a small introduction assignment where you can already put sticky notes for each participants to start with, so that they have a quick start in the use of Miro and have a nice non-important question to start playing around. Another way how to start is having them define their goal. What I tend to do is describe their exercise, as you can see here, give a small explanation on how to use it, how to do it, give instructions on how to place post-its or what the purpose of the assignment is and what the timing could be. It's important that at the beginning of your workshop you provide every participant a small stage to speak out. And it's important to get everyone on the same page. So therefore I'll try to always start with the goal of the assignment or the goal of the workshop. As you can see, it's getting darker and darker here, which means that recording this video is taking me way longer than I expected. But let's get back to our Miro template and let's continue my explanation on how to set up a workshop. What I'm going to show you next in Miro is some different elements which you can add to your Miro board. Templates that you can use, workshop techniques where you can fill your workshop with, but this is the part where you have to choose the right tools and techniques for the purpose of the interaction that you're looking for and for the purpose of the result that you're looking for. So let's head back towards Miro. Once you have your start of your workshop, you can start filling your workshop with different workshop techniques depending on what you need and what your objectives are. So I filled this one with an open brainstorm about customer knowledge, putting some bigger post-its with questions over here, and asking the participants to add their answers on post-its and gather them here. You can also add an exercise where you ask them to cluster or to work furthermore on the answers that they provide you. It's important to provide regular breaks. It's important to have a clear agreement on the timing of the break, and it's important to suggest that they go outside or at least away from the screen, stretch, walk a little bit, get a cup of coffee, that kind of things, but to get back in time to continue your workshop as well. Then another assignment could be a customer profile. And what you see here is an example of a template which we used to have as a poster in a physical workshop, which we now digitized and that people can still fill in with post-its. we lock the template so that nobody can actually move or change the template, but that only the post-its are open to fill in, and people can fill in the post-its as they wish for in a color that they would like to fill them in, so they can come up with a name, for example Nick, and Nick could be doing a lot of different things, and a typical sentence of Nick could be that he loves remote workshops. And this could be a typical thing that Nick says, and this is also the way that you can ask people to add their post-its while doing so. Give them a clear timing on the quick profile that they need to fill in, and you can also provide multiple profiles and ask different participants to work on a different template. And you could do the same with a customer journey, so you can ask your participants to do that. You can provide them instructions to do it step by step, and even give them some timing for each step. You can do this individually by providing different templates, but you can also ask them to work all together into one template. The use of a conversational tool like Google Hangout provides you, the participants to also discuss the post-its that they glue onto the template, that they stick into the template. And that's how they can co-create and work together to fill in these templates. And once you've finished almost the entire workshop, it's always important to end your workshop with some questions about what's next. It's good to reflect on the different decisions that are made during the workshop to set up actions that all the different participants need to take up after the workshop, and it's always good to ask for reflection on the workshop and on the objectives of the workshop. So one of the questions that I asked in a previous online training was to fill in the different participants on what their first reaction is after seeing this online demo, and what could fail and what could work. There were a lot of participants, over 40, so don't let the amount of cursors on the screen scare you off. But hopefully this shows you the extensive amount of possibilities that Miro has in providing an online workshop, and the way you can play around with it. Hopefully you enjoyed my explanation on how to facilitate workshops remotely, and hopefully I gave you enough courage to start trying it yourself. Please let me know if you need any help on this subject. I would love to help you out setting up a playbook and starting off making your own templates in Miro. So let me know soonest, and then we can start on it together. And also don't hesitate to contact us for the other videos or our handbook. We're happy to send you a copy. Hopefully we speak to you soon. Bye bye.